imagine that you're in the waking state, and you have dinner, you go to bed, and you fall asleep. Yeah? Now, from the point of view of your roommate is still in the waking state, and you have fallen asleep. Now, you're lying on your bed, and in your mind, this world, or your body and its world, have vanished as you fall asleep. But in your mind, you dream a new world, or the mind creates a new world, and it identifies itself with one of the bodies in that world. So again, in the dream, you find yourself as I, this person, experiencing a world outside of me, just like you do in the waking state. However, remember, you're asleep in your bed. This entire dreamed world is taking place in the single dimension of time from the point of view of this waking state. So you've fallen asleep in your mind, the mind just takes place in time, not in space. Thought is just in time, it's not in space. So in your mind, in the single dimension of mind, a new four-dimensional world of time and space appears. And you see a three-dimensional world plus which exists in time. So the self that you have identified with, is moving around in a world that is as real in your experience as this world is in the waking state. Yes? Now, when you wake up, you realize that this four-dimensional world took place in what is, from the point of view of the waking state, just a single dimension. And in your waking state dream, you can dream that 10 years passed. Those 10 years in your dreamed world are absolutely real. They are as real as 10 years in this waking state. But when you wake up, you realize, wow, that length of time, 10 years in the dream state, is 2 seconds in the waking state. Now, why couldn't 10 years in the waking state, or indeed 10,000 years in the waking state, take place not in 2 seconds for awareness, but in the timelessness of awareness? And that is actually, if you think about the experience of deep sleep, that this waking state of 4 dimensions dissolves and becomes 1 dimension of mind in the dream state. Yeah, so 4-dimensional waking state world, time and space, becomes 1 dimension of mind in the dream state, and then that single dimension collapses into deep sleep, which has no dimensions. In that, then when we go the other way from sleep to dream, that 0-dimensional point becomes a single dimension of time. That's tomorrow morning's dream. And in that single dimension of time, a new 3-dimensional world, the waking state, appears. But it all takes place in the 0-dimensional point, which we experience as deep sleep. That's amazing. And it's our experience.
Yeah. And I sometimes see it like this point, 0-dimensional point, with little balloons blowing up, which can be identified with these realms, dream realms, reality realms. And each of these balloons have 3 dimensions in space and time. And they come and go in that one 0-dimensional point, like little balloons popping up like this.
Yes, yes. But somehow in your image, you have to get the balloons appearing in the 0-dimensional. And then why shouldn't there be other balloons that have more dimensions? Why only 4? It's just the human mind it has the capacity of conception, that's the single dimension of mind, and perception, that's the 3 dimensions of space. But why not other kinds of perception, not just conception and perception? Conception, thought, that is one dimension of time. Perception, that is space, that is three dimensions. Why not other dimensions? Why not a different kind of mind that has a different kind of somethingception, through which they experience 10 dimensions or 12 dimensions? Or we can't think of that. In the same way that if I asked you now to get out of space, you just don't know which way to turn. You cannot turn in that direction. In the same way, we cannot think of more than 4 dimensions. But that is a limitation of the mind, not a limitation of what is out there. In awareness, because awareness has no dimensions, it is infinite possibility. There are an infinite number of dimensions that are possible, because awareness itself has no dimensions. So the mistake we make is to impose the limitations that belong to the mind onto awareness. As you rightly say, that the power and the make of the telescope tells us nothing about the one who looks through it. That the power and make of the mind, this is a 4-dimensional human mind, or this is a 1-dimensional flea's mind, or a 10-dimensional alien mind, tells us nothing about the consciousness which looks through those minds, and through those minds sees the corresponding world, a 1-dimensional world, a 3-dimensional world, or why not a 10-dimensional world?
Thank you very much.